I was watching a video by a user whose name eludes me at the moment about conspiracy theories and that sort of thing. And he included a clip of Alex Jones, in which Alex Jones basically says that when the people of his ilk, the revolutionaries, overthrow the New World Order, that there will basically be what amounts to purges. Now, he, of course, compares it to things like Nuremberg, although he says that it's going to be bigger. Now, I asked the video maker where he got the original video, and he said that he got it from somebody's channel who it's subsequently, their channel has been closed, and so he couldn't point me to the original video, but I can give you a link to the video that I'm talking about. He plays this at the pretty much the very tail end of the video. It's maybe the last 20 seconds or so, and now hopefully I'll have found an original version of this by the time that this video is up, but if not, then I hope that this sort of secondhand clip suffices. It's not a fake. I mean, you can hear that it's Jones talking, and it's perfectly in line with the sorts of things that Alex Jones typically says. But what I find disturbing and ironic, and again I'm using ironic in a sort of colloquial sense here, is that first of all, I think that Alex Jones, a lot of people think that he might be fake. I made a video a while back called Alex Jones is an Illuminati shill, and it surprised me how many people didn't get that I don't believe in Illuminati, and I don't really think he's a shill. My point was about conspiratorial thinking, but that just sort of went over the heads of a lot of people. But assuming that Jones means what he says, he advocates a sort of basically violent revolution is what it comes down to. He portrays the police and other means of state authority not as sort of a necessary evil or whatever, but as these authoritarian jackboot Gestapo of the state that that hate you and think that you're sheep and want to bash your heads in and can't wait to bring you to the FEMA camps and you have to hear. I mean, Jones is somebody you really have to hear his rhetoric for yourself to fully appreciate this sort of person that he is. Again, assuming that he even believes his own rhetoric, but he does seem to foster a sort of attitude where sort of violence is acceptable to attack, to attack the them. And because his conspiracy is very nebulous, the sorts of people who would use violence, against the New World Order, it's very unclear exactly who that violence would be directed towards. No, it is sort of clear, but it's a very broad spectrum of people. So, if somebody wanted to bring on the Alex Jones revolution and free us from the tyranny of the New World Order, they may go out and kill police officers. They may attack banks and banking executives, corporate CEOs, the government. Pretty much anyone with any amount of power would be targeted in this sort of uprising. And this, I think, is incredibly dangerous in the sense that even if there was a New World Order, countless people who probably had nothing to do with it would be likely targeted in these sorts of purges. And again, going back to what the ironic part is that Jones talks about how when the state finally comes down with their authoritarian crackdown and brings us to the FEMA camp, he compares it to the Stalinist purges, and yet if he were to actually take power, or the people of his mindset were to actually take power, they would engage by Jones's own admission, they would likely engage in the sort of very Stalin-esque type purges that that they're saying that the state would engage in. Jones said that, oh, they're not just, it's not going to just mean a few, it's going to be hundreds of thousands of people, we're going to lock them up in prison, and we're going to, take care of them, and blah, 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 that he says in this clip. Because the communists and the Stalinists, when they took power, they were pretty much indiscriminate. Anyone who they even suspected as being part of, you know, the bourgeoisie capitalist class had to be dealt with. If they were conspiring with, you know, the capitalists or the old order, there had to be this mass purging of the old order. And it's sort of frightening to think that if people like Jones were to get any sort of real power, that this is the sort of thing that they would advocate. For example, you know, the killing fields, you know, Pol Pot and that. They killed people who, they wanted to target the people that they considered to be intellectuals, because the intellectuals were supposedly supporting the you know, the capitalist master class. And so they would kill people just for wearing glasses. And this, of course, you know, just to go on a slight tangent, always is what makes me sort of laugh when Christians try and throw the atrocities of communists in the atheist face, because they were completely irrational. I mean, I wear contacts, for those of you who don't know. I used to wear glasses several years ago, so I would have been killed just because I wear glasses, because that would somehow make me an intellectual. I mean, these sorts of purges were completely irrational. And yet, if you look at the rhetoric of people like Jones, anyone who's a banker is one of them. They're conspiring with Illuminati. If you have money, or if you have power, or if you work for the state, or if you're a police officer, or part of the military, or anyone who may be in any way involved in this nebulous conspiracy theory that they have, then you would be targeted. And really, I doubt that these people are exactly going to be given a fair trial. We would likely see exactly what we saw in communism, these sorts of show trials, and people just being, you know, murdered outright. The sort of the rich and the people involved in banking and government would likely be purged. I mean, assuming that we take their rhetoric seriously, and I think that there are a lot of people who really do feel this way, and so we should be vigilant in combating this sort of people like Alex Jones, who I really think that if they were to take over, it would be a disaster, and it would result in the sorts of purges that we saw in communist Russia, because it's just this mass paranoia against a nebulous, you know, capitalist ruling class that must be dealt away with in order to usher in the you know, the utopia of communism, or whatever the hell that Alex Jones, I know Alex Jones doesn't advocate communism, but you know, whatever utopian world vision that Alex Jones and his ilk would want to usher in, they would likely do in a manner very similar to the communists, and feel themselves totally justified in doing so. And in that regard, I think these sorts of people are dangerous, and we should be, you know, very, very cautious of them.